what's happening in the barley world?
Well, Rob, the dry right on the east coast of New Zealand is starting to catch up with some operators, and Malt Europe particularly are looking for malting barley. And for me, that's just justice, really, because they did some silly things. They dropped out a lot of growers, some growers that have been growing for up to 30, 40 years for them, and said, no, you guys are too small, we don't want you. We're shifting production to the North Island, and we only want the big boys down here in Canterbury, so anybody over 100 tonne. So they're paying for that because they're looking for malting barley, and they're certainly looking for any growers that have contracts that had extra product put in the ground. Well, I don't think they're going to get that at their contract price.
No, supply and demand is a very...
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And just talking to Tony Devron, who knows a lot about what's going on at the east coast of North Island, their drought up there is unbelievable, and started hitting in about December. And so some of those barley crops are just, they're spindly. The nitrogen will be high in the grain because of lack of water. Now, a lot of that's been tried and tested in the North Island before, and they just are not reliable enough. So their proteins are up, their nitrogen levels are up, their screenings will be up, their yields will be down, and so that's a consequence of, as we know, how unreliable the North Island can be.
Yeah, and it's, as you said, it's been proven before.
Absolutely.
Environment, that's really important, isn't it?
Yes, Rob, I've just spent some time up in Hamner and amongst some tourists and talking to a lot of Europeans, and having a wee insight into some of the food industry in New Zealand, and really our environment and our food safety and traceability is what it's all about. All our European trading partners are looking for it, and we can deliver it. And it's not easy for New Zealand farmers to want to actually do everything, like all the paperwork, all the recording, all that type of thing. But believe you me, it's worth it. It's worth mega bucks. I can see the day when some food products will not have a home if they cannot prove their food safety and their traceability. It'll be as good as that. And the difference in values and the value we can extract from being able to provide that information is immense. And the New Zealand Pure and NZ Inc. Overseas, they're worth mega bucks. They really are worthwhile and worth keeping. So I appeal to the farmers, do your bit for the environment, because it is so important for our future.
And that leads me on to planting crops for next year, 2018.
Yes, indeed, Rob. And the seasons roll round, and we start talking to our merchant friends and saying, what have you got, or what haven't you got? What's been oversupplied? What's short?
Malting barley.
Malting barley, indeed. Well, it's going to take a long time to come round, and you just can't turn feed barley into malting barley. So
no.
No. In fact, once upon a time, malting barley was something like 50% more valuable than feed barley, but now there's just a few dollars between. But it gives you an idea of how hard it is to grow and the specialist treatment it needs. But anyhow, getting on to the crops for the coming year, it's all about farmer's reputation, his access to resources, his performance in the past, his attention to detail, listening to the instructions and following the instructions of the companies they grow for, and just really building that reputation and relationship between the two parties, because the companies will go to their best operators to fill their contracts first. And nobody wants to grow a whole lot of free stuff on their farm and then go to their bank manager and say, well, I think I can sell it, I'm not sure what the price will be, and I don't know when I'll deliver it or when I'll be paid. So,
So
contracts are the complete opposite of that. So that's how important it is for a farmer to arrange his business transactions, basically.
What's happening in Aussie?
Well, their grain harvest is finished. And at one stage we heard just how wet it was and the flooding and everything that was going on, and we thought, oh yeah, well, there'll be a lot of crop lost. But it's dried up in time. They've had a record harvest. They've actually done something like 30% higher than their 10-year average. So we're talking in extra millions of tonnes of grain out there. So I'm not too sure where they're going to sell it to, or maybe it goes to Asia. I'm not
I
sure.
hope it doesn't come this way.
Well, if it does come this way, all we can ask for and all we expect is direct import cost parity. Now, there's been a bit of distortion in that in the past, and they've been quoted to us in the South Island, delivered Port Auckland. Well, believe you me, through the port and down the road to the mill, wherever it's going, there's a hell of a lot of costs to be added on from that imported landed price. So we don't mind competing as long as we're competing with apples. And so those people who are saying, you know, I can get it from Aussie for this, yes, but to what point? So
Look at the fine print, isn't it?
look at the fine print, or let's play the game. Let's have a level playing field, and we're not scared of competition. We can compete.
Good man. And you're battlers, aren't you?
Oh, we are. We have to survive. Absolutely.
Dennis, thank you very much indeed.